Welcome to KVS Haro Jabalpur, Class 12th Commerce, Business Studies. Today we are going to discuss the third unit, that is Business Environment, and today's session will be the first part of this unit. So let us begin. Here is the concept map. We have already discussed that these are the 12 units we have to study in Class 12th Commerce, Business Studies. We have completed nature and significance of management. In this unit, we try to understand that what management is, what are the functions, what are the levels, what are the features and nature of management. Is it an art, science or profession? After understanding the nature and significance of management, we understood principles of management. In this unit, we discussed 14 principles given by Henry Fayol and scientific principles given by F.W. Taylor. Dear students, today in the third unit, we are going to discuss what are the surroundings of business in which business has to survive. We will try to understand that what are the outside powers, outside impacts which a business gets, and the business behavior is decided accordingly according to this business environment. So this is the third unit today we are going to discuss. After completing this third unit, we will start with the process of management. These 5 points are the process of management we will be discussing later on. A sweet reminder once again: plan and manage your time. Divide your time accordingly to study all the subjects. Make notes. While watching these videos, you can pause the videos and make your own handouts, make your own notes. These notes will be highly useful for you. While making notes, you can take the help of NCERT books also. Attempt exercise questions after completing the units. Attempt case studies of previously asked board exams, and watch these videos repeatedly for a nice practice. All these videos are available on this channel only, so you can watch them whenever you want. Learning objectives of this lesson. In this unit, we have to discuss meaning of business environment, that what is the concept of business environment, what are the features of business environment, importance for a manager, dimensions of business environment, that what all external dimensions of the business environment are there. We will understand the concept of demonetization, including the changes in economic environment of India since 1991. Impact of these changes which took place over the period of time since 1991 on economic policies of business, that how business kept on changing its business policies according to the changes of business environment. Then how managers responded to the changes which took place since 1991, including demonetization in Indian economic environment. So before we discuss all this, let us move forward and try to understand the meaning of business environment. See, the business environment can be defined as the forces, factors, institutions with which the business has to deal with to achieve its objectives. In general words, we can say that it is the surroundings in which the business exists. Dear students, we also exist in a surrounding. These surroundings affect us and our behavior up to a large extent. See, for example, when you go to school, you always take care that what kind of weather is there outside. In rainy season, you wear a raincoat or you carry an umbrella. You keep your books in a polythene. In the same manner, in summer seasons, you wear summer uniform. In winter season, you wear your winter uniform. So your behavior is actually affected by the surroundings or environment. In the same manner, the business environment affects the behavior of a business, the policies of a business, that what business will do. The environment affects the business behavior up to a large extent. How? For example, right now we can see due to COVID-19, all the business have to act accordingly, and they are providing either home delivery services or making their payments online. For example, recently I have purchased the upgrade for my antivirus. That antivirus updates were provided me online. Mean, for example, in previously when I purchased my antivirus, the hard copy of the CD in a packed format was delivered to me on my address. But due to COVID-19, the antivirus key has been sent to me on my email. So these are the changes which change the behavior of the business. So business environment is largely affected by the changes in business environment. Dimensions of business environment. We will discuss these dimensions in detail in coming sessions. Actually, this is a very important topic, and lot of case studies are generally asked in board exam based on the dimensions of business environment. So business environment dimensions are social environment, legal environment, political environment, technological environment, and the most important, economic environment. So out of these five, this is the most important, which directly affects the behavior of business, the policies of a business. Let us discuss the features of a business environment now. These are the features of business environment. We will discuss them in detail in coming slides. Totality of external forces. See, business environment is of two types, micro and macro. So within business house, there is an environment which is up to a large extent controllable. Internal environment or micro environment is more or less controllable. It can be decided by the business manager. But there are some external forces which are beyond our control, beyond the control of a manager. So actually business environment is the totality of those external forces. Number two, specific and general forces, interrelatedness, dynamic nature, uncertainty, complexity, and relativity. While watching this video, you can pause the video and note them down. Okay, so have a note of it. So there are in total 7 features. There may be case studies in your board exam based on these features. So let us have a better understanding and detailed discussion on these features. First, totality of external forces. As I discussed just now, that it is the sum aggregate of the external factors. What are those external factors? Social environment, legal environment, political environment, technological environment, and economic environment. We will discuss all the factors, all these outside factors in detail in coming slides. So actually business environment is the external environment. Inside the business, there is environment which we call micro environment, which I just told is more or less controllable. For example, behavior of the worker, managerial policies, decisions taken by the owners or shareholders, these are included in the internal environment. So they are controllable, they are within our limit. But there are some factors which are outside the business and impact the business behavior up to a large extent. So all these 5 are called external or macro business environment. Number 2, specific and general forces. See, there are some forces which are actually applicable on the business, all the business houses, and we are just a part of it. Those decisions are applicable to the entire business environment, and we are just a part of it, so it is also applicable on us. For example, there are changes in economic environment, increase in the repo rate, reverse repo rate, CRR. So this will impact all the business houses and will also affect me. Social environment means change in the taste of customers or any festival. So this will impact the entire business environment and will also impact me. Political, legal, if there is any law made especially for the business, or there is some change in the provisions of the existing law, so that will impact all the business houses and also will impact me. In the same manner, technological conditions, they actually impact all the business houses. So these are general forces. These are general forces. Social, legal, political, technological and economic environment, these are the general forces which actually change all the business houses, which impact all the business houses, and I will be a part of it only. So obviously it will affect me, but there are some specific forces which specially affect me only and not all the business houses. For example, my investors, my customers, my competitors, my suppliers, etc. They individually affect my business house only. I hope the point is clear that there may be specific forces and general forces. General forces are applicable on all the business houses, and specific forces are actually applicable on my business house only. Interrelatedness, it's a very important term and you'll have to understand it very clearly. See, all the elements of business are interrelated, interdependent. So any change in economic environment will affect the social, legal, political and technological environment. For example, the demonetization actually affected the social environment. The behavior of the people changed. They all were standing outside the ATM for withdrawing some money from ATM. They all were rushing to bank to deposit their rupees 500 and 1000 rupees notes. It affected the legal environment. The change in economic environment affected the legal environment. How? If you are having a rupees 500 or 1000 rupees old note, it is a legal offense now. The political environment, all the economic environment, all the changes in economic environment actually affect the political environment also. Right now you can see. Okay, technological environment, economy directly affects the technology, because whenever you want to upgrade your plant, if you want to bring out the new version of your plant, you will have to spend some money on it. In the same manner, any change in social environment will also affect the legal environment, political environment, technological environment and economic environment as well. Same manner, if there is any change in legal environment, will impact political, technological, economic and social environment. So I hope the point is clear. Interrelatedness means all the environmental factors, all the dimensions are dependent on each other and they are actually affecting each other. So they are interrelated. Relativity. Relativity means my business environment will be different from others. Means my business firm may be affected from a decision and other business house is not affected with that, and vice versa. In the same manner, the economic environment or business environment in India will be entirely different from the business environment in US or Pakistan. Also, this point means that any change in business environment will be maybe good for me and bad for other business. For example, if there is a price rise in the petrol prices are hiked, it is good for the petrol pump owner but bad for me, and vice versa. If there is a price fall in petroleum, then what will happen? It will be good for me but bad for the petrol pump owner. Okay, so any change may be good for me. It may be, you can see the diagram, it may be good for me and bad for others. So it is a relative environment. Dynamic in nature. Dynamic means it keeps on changing. Since your childhood, you must have observed a lot of changes around you only. Not only in economic environment, in social environment also. For example, since your childhood, your parents might have celebrated the festivals in other manner, and you might have observed that now the festivals are being celebrated in some other manner. For example, right now you can send your wishes, festival wishes on WhatsApp or other digital media, but in our time it was not available, and many other changes like that. So it is dynamic, it keeps on changing, and the business has to change accordingly. So remember, business environment is dynamic, it keeps on changing, it never keeps still. Next is very important point and dependent on the previous point, uncertainty. See, the previous point is saying business environment is dynamic, it keeps on changing. But what will be the change? It is totally unpredictable. It will change, that is certain. It is dynamic, the business environment will keep on changing. But what will be the change? This is not predictable. So this brings uncertainty to the business environment. It is very difficult to predict future happenings. Next point is complexity. See, complexity means you can understand the business in parts, but as a whole it is very difficult that your decision is going to impact where. Any change in business environment, where it will affect you, it is very difficult to understand at present. The consequences comes later. When you are designing a product, when you are launching a product, you do a lot of studies. You study about the competitors, about the legal environment, about the government policy and many other things. But still, all the effects are not predictable. I mean, there may be some unforeseen impacts also, because the business environment is highly complex. You cannot say that what will be the future effect of my present decision. Therefore, all the business decisions are taken after a detailed study of the business premises about the business environment. Now coming to importance of business environment, that why understanding of the business environment is important for a manager, why we are studying this chapter or this unit. It brings first mover advantage to the business. It may act as a warning signal. It will help in tapping and assembling the useful resources. It helps in coping up with the rapid changes, because business environment is dynamic. It helps in assisting planning and policy making. It helps in improving the performance of a business. So let us discuss them one by one. First of all, it helps in identification of the opportunities and gives the first mover advantage to a business. See, if you are carefully observing the changes in business environment, your policy making abilities are good, then you can grab an opportunity before your competitors, and you can have the strategic advantages over your competitors. Any opportunity, you can grab it first and you may be the first mover. There are many products which are known by its first brand. For example, people generally call Bisleri rather than mineral water. People generally call Colgate rather than toothpaste. People generally call VIP rather than a suitcase. People generally call Godrej rather than a steel almirah. Why these brands have become synonymous to the product? Because they launched it first. So, a better understanding of the business environment gives the business a first mover advantage. It gives the opportunity, the positive external trends or change that will help a business firm to improve its performance. It gives numerous opportunities and helps the business environment to be the first to exploit them instead of losing them to their competitors. Okay. According to Philip Kotler, a very famous expert in marketing management, either you are number one or you are no one. Okay, so everyone knows about the first person. So if you study the business environment and carefully analyze it, you can be the first mover and you can be far ahead of your competitors. It gives a warning signal also. At the same time, it gives us opportunity to be the first mover, and at the same time, it gives a warning signal. What is a warning signal? What may be the threats in future? If the business manager understands, analyzes the business environment carefully, he may be aware of all the future risks and can plan accordingly its policies. See, there is a concept called as PLC, product life cycle. Every product actually has 4 stages in its life. First of all, the product is introduced. After that, it grows, it reaches to maturity, and then it declines. So every product actually goes through this product life cycle. If we carefully analyze the business environment, we can come to know when there is a decline in our product's demand, and we can change our business policies accordingly. For example, if you see, there was Iodex, an ointment for joint pains and all. It was black, and when it used to be applied, it leaves an impact on the cloth and the skin also, because it was having black color. The competitor came, Jyoti Laboratories. They introduced Move. It was transparent, white, and highly effective also. So it gave a very huge competition to the Iodex. Then accordingly, Iodex has to improve its product, and they launched a transparent green color ointment in the competition of Move, and they survived. So this is the warning signal that we can know about the threats and change our policies accordingly. So study of the business environment gives a warning signal to the manager so that he can change his policies accordingly. Business environment helps in tapping useful resources. An early understanding of the business environment can make you aware of the useful resources, availability, and how they can be utilized, and you can again be ahead of your competitors. You can see in India, the 4G was first introduced by Reliance Industries, and they are far ahead of the competitors. They not only captured a large market share, but also they have a better capital structure other than their competitors. Right now, the market value, we call it wealth maximization. The wealth of Reliance Jio is much better than other competitors surviving in the market. Understanding of the business environment also helps in planning and policy making, because policy is the process, policy making is the process of analyzing the business environment, the factors, the information, and making the decisions accordingly. So environment is a source of both opportunities and threats for the business environment. Its understanding and analysis can be the basis for deciding the future course of action and training guidelines for decision making. Next is coping with rapid changes. We just discussed in the features of business environment that it is dynamic, it is highly changing, highly versatile. So to cope up with those rapid changes, those uncertain rapid changes, we have to be aware of the business environment on a real-time basis. We must be aware of the business environmental changes as and when they are taking place. Then only we can be updated and change our policies accordingly. If we miss it, we lose it. It helps in improving performance. Obviously, when we are analyzing the business environment carefully and we are making our policies accordingly, it will not only impact our effectiveness, but will also increase our efficiency. In this way, you must have understood that what is the importance of business environment for a business manager. Coming to dimensions of business environment, a very important topic. We should carefully understand this topic because a lot of case studies are asked from this topic every year in board exams. Actually, business environment, if we see from the business point of view, can be of two types only: economic and non-economic. Because business includes only those things primarily which are economic in nature. So economic business environment includes fiscal policy, industrial policy, monetary policy, economic development in the country, economic systems, profit earning rates, GDP, etc. While at the same time, in non-economic environment, there are social impacts, legal environments, legal changes, laws, political environment, and technological environment. So if we sum up all these external factors, there may be 5 types of dimensions or 5 dimensions of the business environment which a business manager should understand carefully. We will discuss them one by one. First of all, the economic environment. And economic environment includes, this is the most important environment dimension for a business manager. So understand it very carefully. Economic environment includes, first of all, the economic systems. There are 3 types of economic systems: capitalistic economy, socialistic economy, and mixed economy. In India, we follow the mixed economy. Economic conditions. There may be 2 types of economic conditions: boom, when there is the market is running very fast and productions are high and sales are high, everything is good, interest rates are high, and there may be recession. Right now we can call it recession. Economic policies made by the government, for example, fiscal policy, industrial policy, EXIM policy, trade policy, and many others. So this all sums up as economic environment of the business, and this is the most important environment a business has to be aware of. Comes to social environment. Social environment are the social surroundings, general behavior of the people, beliefs, faiths. It impacts the business up to a large extent. In India, many products are not sold because of these beliefs and faiths, because they are not acceptable in the society. Okay. Social institutions like marriage. In India, marriage season is a boom season. You very well know that Indian marriages are very spendthrift marriages. A lot of expenditures are there. So social institutions like marriages impact the business environment up to a large extent. You all very well understand that how expenditures on marriage brings revenue to the Indian market. Festivals and rituals. Many festivals you all know. In India there are two largest festivals, Holi and Diwali, and you can very well understand इन दोनों ही त्योहारों पे करोड़ों रुपए की मिट्टी बिकती है, एक में गुलाल बन के और एक में मूर्ति बन के. सो फेस्टिवल्स एंड रिचुअल्स impact our economy up to a large extent. It impacts our business environment up to a large extent. Legal environment. Legal environment includes various laws and legislations passed by the government, various administrative orders issued by the government, and court judgments as well as the decisions. A few acts and laws which directly impact the business are FERA and FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act, Indian Contract Act, a very important act which directly indirectly affects all the business houses all the time. Even when you are buying a ticket, railway journey ticket, you are entering into a contract with the railway department. The moment you are buying a cinema ticket, you are entering into a contract, and the provisions of Indian contract will apply on you as well as on the cinema hall owner. Okay, Sales of Goods Act, Indian Companies Act, insurance laws. So various other legal legislations are directly or indirectly affecting the business decisions. Many other acts, for example, Factory Act and the Partnership Act. Okay, so all these effects, all these acts and laws are directly, indirectly are surrounding us and changing the behavior of a business and decision making. Now comes to political environment. Political environment includes political parties in the country, in opposition as well as in the power, and the specific attitude that elected government representatives hold toward business. See, when the government changes, you can see a large impact on the Sensex also. Why? Because the change in political scenario also affects the business environment up to a large extent. There may be government which are in favor of developing new economic zones, special economic zones, SEZ, new EPZs, which may be in favor of liberalization of the business environment, globalization. So all these decisions taken by the government will directly impact the business environment. Finally, the last component of the business environment which affects it is technological environment. It includes all the innovations and inventions which may or may not be useful for the business. Okay, so right now you can see that there is a big change in the behavior, buying behavior of the people, and they prefer to buy online goods rather than offline. They find it very convenient. Now you people and me and many other people, they find it very comfortable to buy the goods online rather than roaming in the market and having trouble over there. You feel it better in sitting your rooms, sitting at your chair, sitting at your laptop table. You can order the goods and the goods are very easily delivered at your home place. So these are the inventions and innovations. The technology in present, in past and future. You will find it very strange that all the technology, whether it be in present or in past or in future, affects the business environment. How? Present, you can understand that whatever present inventions, you are using them directly in business. Let it be the billing machines, the networking processes, the online meetings and online orders. Every big business house They are having their own dedicated portals, websites. Adidas, McDonald's, and every Big Bazaar, futurebazaar.com is the website for Big Bazaar. So these are the technology in present, but at the same time, past technology also affects the business. How? See, the Microsoft kept on giving the updates for Windows 7 even when it discontinued. Means after launching the Windows 10, they did not stop giving updates for Windows 7. It means the technology in past is actually affecting the present technological environment of the business, and also future expectations that what may be is also affecting the business environment. How? If you have opened your computer CPU panel, you might have found some blank holes over there, blank slots. Why these blank slots are given? They are giving scope for future technology. There may be other things may launched which this system may require, and we are living the impact for that also. How you receive the updates for your Windows 10 or anything else? Because they have left the scope for improvements. So technology in present as well as past as well as future is included in technological environment, and technology used by the competitors. More or less you have to adopt the same technology which is being used by your competitors, and even better than that. Then only you can have the competitive advantages. So I hope you found today's lesson important. Make notes and revise them. In next session, we will discuss changes in economic environment in India since 1991 and impact of these changes, LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization, and demonetization, and how managers are responding towards these changes in business environment in India. Thank you very much. Stay safe, stay inside. God bless you.